is Cliff from Cliff's List, and I have a special guest, a long time friend of mine, Hans Comyn, who has some very great insights to share with all the readers of Cliff's List about learning how to become more successful with women. And we're going to go through Hans's history, some of his own experiences, and also some of the ways that he helps guys to become more successful with women. So Hans, let's start off. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself and your how you got, how you basically learned about women from the beginning. And what made you successful from where you were to where you are. I don't know if you were considered a natural in the beginning or you were someone that learned, but go ahead and tell us all about it.
I certainly think I didn't have any trouble with women, but looking back, I did. No, first of all, Cliff, thank you for having me. And I don't like to tell my story very much, but maybe as it maps on for some other guys, I could tell it, I'm Hans Comyn. I was born in Belgium. I'm a son of Jacques Comyn and Lucrèce Goutry, who I love very much. And I was in Belgium a happy kid, a successful student. I went on to become an academic in philosophy and a football player, soccer player. And I had everything going for me and doing everything what I should be doing back in 2008 when I met Zan Perrion, who you know very well. And I met you shortly after that, after meeting Zan. And Zan gave me a call to adventure. And I had already, before that, I had a writing company where we did reviews of books. And one day I had to review the book The Game by Neil Strauss. And as I was schooled in sociology and philosophy, I was very interested in the book as the community of pickup artists, but also the things about women. I loved women my whole life, as long as I remember. I think like every man, we love girls and then women. And but I never got any education in it. And I read that book. I was fascinated by it. I talked with Neil Strauss in Antwerp. I remember that. And I got very interested in the whole scene. I learned about you. I learned and I met Johnny Saporno online. And I talked a lot with him, and he was so interesting and so generous that I said to Johnny, I want to do something for you. And I set up an event in Belgium for him where he could speak. There was press, we had clients, and made some money. He was very happy, and he said, can I bring a friend along? And that friend was, I said, yeah, friend was Zan. I didn't know of Zan. But Zan and I connected immediately. I remember when we were sitting somewhere in Holland and he was sharing his vision for the future, and it was very close to what I had in mind. And 2 months later, I was out of the academic world. I gave up my apartment. I gave up all my furniture, gave up all my clothes. And I started articulating further and spreading the Arzamarata message. And on that first trip to Montreal, where I met you, that was for me a real eye-opening experience, because it showed me, like, instead of being an academic, playing football, being in one country, doing what's right, have this career, I saw a complete different possibility where I could have a life of adventure, a life of romance, and I could talk to girls, and that could be my work. I could think about this. I could travel the world, and it's, I instantly gave up my whole life, and I started working with Zan, and we did Arzamarata for 8 years, and then I went solo, and we're now, that's been almost 8 years now. So, but my life with women was, I never thought I had an issue with women. But I wasn't very popular with women either. I wasn't popular, and I was a very late bloomer. I was a virgin until I was 21, But what I did notice is when women got to know me, they always wanted more from me. So I was not, I'm not the guy I walk into a place and girls go, wow, that guy, you know? And, but I always saw that women, when they got to know me, they wanted more. They never wanted to leave me. And one woman told me it's because of your verticality, which means like I have very good boundary control, and I would never sell my soul for a woman. Like even though I would be in love, and I would never sell my soul for a woman, and that's a great strength. And that's a, I say it is because I think it's the number one thing for guys to become successful with women is bless you, is to start with boundary control, is to say no when your boundaries are crossed. And if you would have only that, women will be in your life. Women will be attracted to you, you know? And yeah, I just, when I started working with Zan, I started understanding better, you know, how attraction works, how to date, the language of women, secret realm of seduction. And I became quite good, I would say, with first with Western women, and then I started traveling more and more, and it opened up a whole new, you know, realm of yeah, I would say more traditional, less entitled, more feminine women in the world. And I've been on the road for 16 years now, you know, traveling to Asia and Latin America, Eastern Europe, Africa, and yeah, I've been now I'm working with men, just helping them get the success I got with women, both in first meeting women, then dating women, and long-term relationships with women. Because I'm married now with a Colombian woman, and yeah, this is my one of my big focuses now is relationships, how to create an intentional relationship, you know, and and I teach that mainly in the light of international dating. So is that too long? Is that too short?
No, that's good. That's good. I mean, um, I think you explained a good bit of it. Was there any particular things that really made a big impact on you in terms of changing your uh, success rate or whatever with
Yes.
women?
I always say it's like fishing, you know. Seduction is like fishing. Nothing bites, nothing bites, nothing bites, and then it bites, you know. And you really learn more. For me, I think you learn more from the successes than from the failures, because it can go wrong for so many reasons. But when you have success, the body, it's like the body shifts. I remember I remember a very particular night with this beautiful woman from Madagascar, and I was just so like enamored by her. Like she was so gorgeous, and but when I look back, I never thought I could be with a woman like her, you know. And I remember an evening we're sitting in Brussels and we're drinking rum, and I'm blah yapping, you know, and yapping, trying to make something happen, but also like deep in my loins, I'm thinking this is not possible. She's too gorgeous, you know? And we're walking home, and she's living with a roommate. And I remember we walk past the hotel, and she looks and she says to me, you know, we could go inside here, you know? And that moment to me, it changed everything. Like, because at that moment I thought, what? Like, this woman who I think is just a goddess, you know, is attracted to me. I could have her, you know. And from that moment on, I thought, like, if I can have her, I can have any girl, you know. And I never ever thought again that any woman would be out of my league, ever. I'm not saying I can get with any woman, not at all. But I never think anymore, this woman is out of my league. And yeah, love and relationships and romance has become something very symmetrical to me. It's not something I'm trying to get, you know, and it's like it's exactly what it needs to be, you know. And then the woman I'm with is complete testament of the work I've done, you know. And that's one of the most important moments, you know. But also travel, you know. you go, I'm not bad with women. I'm, in fact, with Western women, I would say I'm better than almost any man I know. But when I traveled, it completely changed me. When I first went to Romania, and I saw how these women who are so gorgeous, so gracious, so feminine, are so welcoming of men like me, you know, when they welcome me, and when we're a good match, it's not just, oh, they welcome you because you're foreign, yes, but you're also a great man to them, because they're not used to Western men who are usually very committed, who are very caring, you know, and it's a great match. When you feel that match, it changes you. When you go to Latin America and you meet the grace of the Colombian women who are never bitchy, you know, who are always welcoming, at least, you know, who will, if even if they reject you, with a smile and a kindness and a grace, you know, it changes you. When you go to Africa, that's a whole different story. You walk into a club in Nairobi, and I cannot explain it really to guys. You have to do it. But if you go there and you instantly feel all the women want you, and you know instantly what hot women experience every day, you know, you get them all of a sudden, you know, and you go, oh, this is what they're dealing with, you know, and your questions change, you know, your what you think about changes, and the body has wisdom, and the body has wisdom, and the body knows what the mind is trying to figure out, and it's therefore, I say, that success has more impact on you as a seducer than failure. And so it's so important for a man, I think, to get out there and practice, 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 whatever that is, you know, approach, 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 date, 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 you know, or it's travel, go in and experience something different, because the moments of success will change you forever, you know, and so you got to fight for that. Yeah, so I would say that it's those moments of success, you know, like that gorgeous woman that really likes you, the the eyes of all those African women on you, or the honor and the respect with which my woman treats me, you know, it's like, I never thought it was possible, you know, I didn't think it was possible, and then it happens and it completely changes you, and it's like you reach a next level in a computer game and you never go back, you know, you can never go back. And so yeah, those moments of success, and they're moments, you know, that's what changes you. They're moments. It's like I said, it's like fishing, you know, it's nothing, 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 and all of a sudden, wow, and you turn a corner, you know. So
Well, that's pretty interesting. Could you tell us a little bit about your coaching with the guys, like how you help them to turn that corner?
yes. Well, there's really my two. This will sound. I'll say it like this. First of all, no, in lockstep with what you're doing in the realm of women, in lockstep with that, you got to become the man you admire. You got to become the man you admire first, not first, in lockstep with the seduction, and that's huge, you know, because a lot of men look at themselves in the mirror and they're not the men they admire. So you cannot expect the success if you're not the man you admire. And so you gotta fight for that. You gotta keep your word to yourself. You gotta install the habits that you need to install. You gotta look after your body. You gotta look after your finance. You gotta, you know, look after the meaning of life, and live that life. And the way to do that is by, I say, is by installing habits. Begin small, lock a habit in, stack another habit, you know, and then you start to trust yourself. You start to have confidence in yourself. You start to respect yourself, and automatically women will be attracted to you, you know. And so in lockstep with that, not independent of that, you know, you work in the realm of women, you know. I'm a big defender of doing both, not just, oh, I got to first work on me and then I'll be ready for women. No, no, no. Women will show you exactly where you are, and it's a constant feedback. They're a mirror, and relationships are a mirror. So, and there's no better platform, I would say, than the realm of women to, or the stage with women to mold your personality, you know, to discover it, what kind of man you are, and also to mold it, to become it, you know. So and you focus on that, and you apply at least some of your work ethic to relationships, you know. We go to the gym to take care of our body, you know. We I have a cycling coach, you know, to become better as a cyclist. Why don't we do the same with our relationships? Why don't we do the same? Why don't we go to the gym every day? You know, whether that is talking to women, dating women, you know, traveling, you know, and you talk with other men about it, like you would do when you go to the gym, you know. And sometimes you would have a personal coach. You could do that too. You know, I learned a lot from the mentors in my life. I pay a lot to my coaches, to the things that are important in life, to become better at that. And so that's the number one thing. You got to invest in that on a daily basis. You know, it's not just one weekend seminar and I'll be good with women. No, on a day, like you do with your body, you do the same with women. You know, and whether that's approaching women or traveling or whatever that is, those experiences. The two most important things I say to guys, they come over and over and over and over. One is to talk to women, you know. That's the number one. And people think, they think they do a lot, but really they're not. Like, how many women are you talking to on a daily basis? If you're not as successful with women as you would like to be, how many women are you talking to, you know? And the second thing I recommend is to, especially for Western men, is to go on an epic adventure abroad. One trip, you know, to once feel that something else is out there, you know. And imagine, like, where are the women that you fancy most? Take it there, you know, and go and feel how it is. Because it's been my experience. Nothing has changed me more in what I do, you know. The habits with the most leverage were talking to women and travel. Yeah? And so I recommend those things the most to guys. And guys think a lot about it. They talk a lot about it. But if you're not successful and you're not doing either one of those or both, what are you really doing? You know. So those are my main recommendations.
You have any other specific things that you teach them? Like I know one of the things I read about, which I found pretty fascinating, was your swerve bike technique. You know,
I blended this now. The two together actually, and it's a swerve bike method, but applied for international dating. You know, when you go abroad, how do you meet women? And the swerve bike method I developed with Zan, and it's a very basic method, which is really based on showing up, you know, feeling into what you're feeling, sharing your experience, your felt experience. What are you noticing? What are you feeling? What's going on with her? And leave. And yeah, maybe we can actually, I haven't made it public, but I will in the coming days. So for your list, I can do it too. I can give a link to this guide, and
Sure.
guys can start applying it. And it's very simple, and it for me tells me also guys will receive it. And if you're not applying it, you know, you're not really doing anything. But it's a very simple method I use everywhere in the world to meet women from all over the world, and avoid, you know, any of the lost in translations, you know, or cultural mishaps, you know, because it's very non-intrusive. And I've used this to meet women from all over the world, you know, from Kenya and Thailand and Colombia and Brazil and everywhere, and in the West too. So I can give a link.
Yeah, you can.
They're watching this on YouTube,
yes.
So we could put it underneath.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Underneath.
That's good. So do you have things that you teach guys in terms of things like online dating, for example?
Part of that method also. The Swerve by method is part of a larger code. I call it the Casanova Code, and it's my proven method to meet, date, and have long-term relationships with women. Meet women and keep women, you know. And the Swerve by method is one map, is one tool where it's on the approaching side. I have also I forgot the name now, but it's a guide that will show you how to do online dating. Because I didn't like online dating, and I was very bad at it, and then I figured it out, you know. And I met my wife through online dating, and now I can never say again I'm
Wow.
against online dating. Yeah, I met her online dating, and I figured some things out, and my focus has been on, like, especially when you go like to non-Western countries, like money is a big issue, and it's in a different way than you think. And my method is focused on really filtering for the genuine prospect, you know, traditional, feminine, beautiful women, you know, and filtering out what they call in Latin America prepagos, and you know, the girls that are after your money. And so that's part of the Casanova Code, and part of the larger method. So yeah, I share that with people too, who enter the programs. So yes.
Can you give us a little taste of how you filter out the ones that are
Yes.
really just after your money?
Well, one is, it's a philosophical stand on what you're looking for, but yeah, one of the big upgrades was to have a Zoom conversation before ever meeting them, and then I can already tell, you know, and in the questions I ask and the energy transfer, I could tell, you know. But that requires some training, you know. I've had many bad experiences also, you know, that I'm like, damn, I thought this girl was really into me, you know, and then she wasn't, and or she was more into, say, the money, and so that requires some training. But yeah, there are some tools to learn that faster, you know, and when the guys click the link, they will also be referred to a page where I list the three traps, the biggest traps of international dating, you know, and it's based around how you find the real genuine prospects and filter out the prepagos. And one of the main ways to do that is not go money first. And Western men, it's hard for them to understand this, but most Western men will never go on that trip. And those that do go on that trip, a lot of them will go money first, and they will go as a tourist, and they will buy their way, and they will buy their entrance, you know, and that's not only not the best way, it's a terrible way, because if you go money first, things will be closed off for you. It's like I say to women, you know, I got this from Patrice O'Neill. If pussy is all you got, then pussy is all I want. Meaning, I'm not interested in just the pussy. I want the personality, you know. But men are like that. If it's only pussy, okay, we'll take it, you know. It's the same for women and men and money. If money's the only thing you got, then money is the only thing she wants, you know. And so you got to develop yourself in such a way, become the man you admire, that it's not for the money. Of course, it's great you have money, and you should have money to be taking care of your woman, you know, but you shouldn't go money first. And it's a big way of showing up in very practical terms, you know. I put it on my online dating when I was online dating, you know. I will not pay for dates or for sex. I'm very generous with my woman, but I will not pay for sex or dates. So I say it up front, you know. And so that's one way that you show up, not money first, you know. And it's a huge lesson for Western men, because they go with their Western mentality and they buy their way, and and that way they never go connection first. They don't go relationship first. But when you go relationship first, when you go connection first, doors open that tourists that remain closed for tourists forever, that remain closed for travelers, that remain closed for digital nomads and expats. It's in a way of showing up and contributing and going relationship first. I know we have a whole method around that, but that's a huge insight, and like that distinction. Don't go money first, go relationship first. That will change everything.
Well, you've certainly mentioned about how you've traveled pretty much the world, and I guess I'm curious if you've noticed things that you would do differently in different parts of the world that would be more successful in one place than in another. Like what differentiates having success in different parts of the world with women?
Well, first of all, being a Western man, showing up in the Western world, the Western dating scene, very little success. Showing up as a Western man outside the Western dating scene, a lot of success. A Western man with a Latino woman is a great match. A Western man with a African woman is a great match. Just you being you, and you don't have to change anything, and you show up in your caring self, in your committed self, in your kind self, because Western men are, and of course I'm generalizing, but the average Western man will have a lot more success outside the Western dating scene than in the Western dating scene. Western men, Western women, they're not a good match. They fight a lot, and so that's one difference, like it's simple, but it's shocking. You don't need to change anything. You go elsewhere and you will have more success, and you will be like shocked at it, but yeah, there are differences, like the way, for example, the way when you come to Colombia, for me, this is the Champions League of dating, Champions League is the best soccer league, but I should say something else probably. The Super Bowl of dating, because the women are so open initially, like very kind, very like they smile, and they're very easy to talk to, but they're very careful with their heart, and it's very hard to get to know them, and so you gotta. This is the country of magic realism. You gotta like start understanding the past, the very traumatic past, and understand why they are like that. They had a very violent past, and so now there's like a backlash where people and women are very kind and they want you to have a great experience, and so they're very, very polite and very nice to you. Same in Japan, also super violent past, and Japanese women are so polite, so kind, so it will break your heart. I was with a Japanese woman for 3 months. We didn't speak each other's language. She just saved me, after a broken heart, and so there are cultural differences, When you go to Africa, it's an experience unlike any other thing. I mean, I only know Kenya, so I should not say Africa, but like when all the women like you, you got to be different, I made a lot less eye contact because I'm thinking, oh, if I make eye contact, she's going to come and talk to me, So there's there's cultural differences that work, and you got to become aware of the different dating scenes. But in all those travels, I have been more surprised by how women are the same, especially outside the West, And I've been more surprised by the similarities between women than by the differences. But yes, there are cultural differences, and yeah, you gotta be attuned to it. But it's even. I'm in Pereira, a smaller city, and the women are a little different here than in Medellin, where there are more tourists. And so even town between town, there are differences, and you become attuned to that, and you learn that.
Well, maybe we'll move on to another question. Have you noticed, I guess, anything that you would do differently now that you're getting a little older as time goes by? The scene changes from when you're young to when you're starting to be a little bit older again. But now, obviously, you've just recently gotten married, so obviously you're moving into a new experience yourself right now.
Yeah. I mean, I would have traveled a lot earlier if I would have known, and that would have made my evolution go a lot faster, because the adventure learning beats the academic learning any day, and one day of travel is worth so much, in terms of learning and adventure and understanding women more. So I would really do that earlier. But yes, I'm happy with all the mistakes I made, because I learned from them also. So I could say I would not do that anymore, but I'm happy I did it. I did all kinds of things, approaching women. I did just social experimenting, and things that I would feel ashamed about now. But I'm happy I did them, because they were all building blocks in learning what I learned and becoming successful in this.
So all of this travel, you've pretty much done it alone, from what I'm gathering.
No, I had a lot. Well, the first 8 years was a lot with Zan, sharing hotel rooms, and it was great. And now the last couple of years, I got a new business partner, Michael, and we've been traveling a lot together. And not the last year, he has a baby in Africa, so his family's there. But I've been fortunate to have great men that I travel with, and now I also travel with Elena. My wife is is also location independent, goes work in Europe, or we travel through Colombia, and so, but sometimes alone, and sometimes lonely too. But I've been fortunate to have great travel partners throughout the years.
Okay, let me sort of come back to what I asked before, maybe rephrase it a little differently. How do you, I guess, coach guys who are, I guess, getting older, who are thinking that they're getting too old for the women that they're interested in?
Oh man, age is only an advantage for men. My wife is 27 years younger. 27. She's 21. I'm 49. Well, yesterday I'm 49, so that's 27 and a half. We're 27 years and a half. So, no, I'm 49 now, so maybe it's different when I'm 60. Maybe it's different when I'm 70. But I know Kelly, he's in his 60s, he's dating 20-year-olds. Age for men is only an advantage, unless you think it's a problem, then women will think it's a problem. But it is not a problem. You see many older men with younger women. Very rarely you see an older woman with a younger man. So to me, it's the best match. A man who has, how do you say that in English? So his wild oats, has done a bit, has traveled, has adventure, has seen a couple of things, been with women, and then have a younger woman is not a problem. I feel it's only better now. And even being married, I can see the women looking at me, and it's just, there's way more attraction than before, way more attraction. And I've seen it. It has never been better than now. I'm 49. Never been better. And so I don't know what world men live in, but I see so many examples of where age is to the advantage of a man, because he has experience, he has his shit together, he makes money, he knows where he's going, You know, that's invaluable for a younger woman to be around that, to be around that security. It's it's what she wants, you know. So yeah,
So obviously, an older client, when they come talk to you, you're sort of encouraging them that the age is just an asset, obviously. But maybe you can give us some of your insights into helping guys with other things like maybe building confidence or getting over shyness or something like that.
uh-huh. I work with guys who do like who have their own work on, say, anxiety and you know, and so I'm not an expert in that, but I would refer people to them. Um, but I will say this: the number one thing to work on when it comes to confidence, I would say the biggest key is to keep your word to yourself. Keep your word to yourself. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you say you're going to install a habit, do it. When you don't keep your word to yourself, you'll never have confidence. When you break your promise to yourself, not to anyone else, when you do that, you'll never have confidence. When you start keeping your word to yourself and you see yourself keeping your word to yourself over and over and over, you will accept yourself, you will love yourself, you will have confidence in yourself. And everyone will notice. Everyone will notice. People will be attracted to you, and you'll have then the confidence that you can attract people. And from there, it's just the skill set to talk to women, to date to women, to have relationships is way less important, you know. But the key to the confidence that you have in yourself, the key to it is to start keeping your word to yourself, you know. Choose a small habit, you know, whatever that is. I'm getting up every day at 5:30, every day, you know, and I do it. And then, okay, I'm a man who gets up early. I'm a man who goes train every day. And so these habits, I install them. I start trusting myself. I stack other habits on top. I start having confidence in me. I trust me because I'm keeping my word to myself. You know? So don't look outside. You know, you can start right there. You can start tomorrow by a small habit, and you just lock it in, and then you stack another one on top, and you have confidence in yourself. You become the man you admire. You attract women in your life, and then you start managing that. You know, and so that's what I would say. Keep your word to yourself. You know, to become and you become the man you admire. You know, look at yourself right now in the mirror and say, do I look the way I want to look? You know, do I live the way I want to live? If not, you know, what needs to change? What's the habit I can install so I can get the success I foresee? You know, and then keep your word. And it's man's work. All man's work is a bloody business. You know, it's a day-to-day fight. You know, and but that's where it comes from. It doesn't come from outside. You know, you keep your word to yourself. Become the man you admire. You'll have confidence in yourself, and everything will follow from that. You'll have success with women. You'll have success with your health. You'll have success with business. You know, so it's very simple but very hard also.
You got some maybe little nuggets of wisdom that you could share about things you've picked up in your experiences with dealing with women, or maybe great pieces of advice that have influenced your thinking or your behavior or things like that. That when a situation arises, you think of, oh, this is what I do in that situation, for example, or almost anything that someone would say, that's a very good insight.
Uh-huh. I'll say this. um, I think it, women speak a different language than men, and once you acknowledge that, and once you commit to learning the language of women, your whole world will change. Women are not like men, and if you really want to understand women, you got to start speaking the language of women. And As soon as you start speaking a couple of words, women will accept you way more than they do other men. And it's like the language of women is a lot more high context than for men, right? When we say no, it's usually no. When a woman says no, despite what they say, no means no. No, it doesn't. You know, no is no, or it's maybe, or it's yes. You know, and that learning that language of what's really going on there, that has been that has been for me what the learning with the biggest leverage. You know? When I start understanding, when I start hearing that language, when I start understanding that language, you know, and when I start speaking that language, then you're on their side, you know. And I'm thinking of how I could give a practical example of that. But no means no. That's a great example. You know, it's so big, but we all know that's not true. You know, Bill Burr has a great bit about this. He says, no means no. No, it doesn't. No, that means no. But no, what you doing? You know, don't do that. That's not a no. You know, it means something different. And
you remind me of a friend that used to go, he says women will say, no, don't, stop. And then as you keep repeating that, it goes, no, don't stop, you know, faster and faster.
Yes. And just to even realize there's a different language there. And just to realize that women speak in different ways. Like women, I have female friends and they go, wow, this guy's bothering me and I don't want him around, you know, and I don't like his, you know. And I said, did you tell him? Yeah, I told him. I said, no, did you tell him, you know, with your words? I said, no, I couldn't do that, you know, but I let him. For women, the language of women is way more nonverbal, you know. The language of women is way more conspiratory. It's way more high context. It's and guys are completely oblivious to it, you know. If you would see, like I could go out and I could see which woman likes which guy, you know, and guys are usually oblivious. And I tell them, this girl really likes you. No, you know, and they're trying to get with the girl and they don't have to do anything. They're already in there. They just have to not fuck it up, you know. If guys would only know which women are into them, it would completely be different. Imagine you go to a club or you go to a social gathering and you could tell which women like you. Wouldn't that change everything in the way you talk to them? You would change everything. And guys don't think it. Like me, I didn't think this girl was into me. Do you remember the Madagascar girl? And I was yapping. And she still liked me, despite the fact I was trying so hard to fuck it up, you know? So that's one of the ways, you know, learn the language of women. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating how they talk, you know, and what they say when they're not talking.
Yeah. Well, I think you've shared a lot of interesting little insights into what you do and how you live and everything. And maybe now you could tell the readers, the listeners and the viewers here about, you know, if they wanted to learn more from you, you know, what, if you have some products or coaching or whatever it is that you offer, maybe you can tell them a little bit about that now.
Well, we'll put a link underneath, and it's a new guide. We're now end of February. I haven't brought it out yet, but it's a guide on how to meet feminine, traditional women in all parts of the world. And so it's a gentleman's guide, and they could read it, and then if they read it, there will be a challenge with it. You know, they can work with me if they want. You know, and my only prerequisite is they do the challenge, and that's a great way to be in contact. The other way is via my website. If you have other questions, you know, or you want to work directly with me, just find me on all socials, and reach out to me. If it's urgent enough, you'll find me. So.
Okay. Well, look, I want to thank you for taking the time to tell us a little bit more about you and your experiences and everything. And you know, I'm looking forward to I guess getting the comments from others on here. And again, it was always a pleasure, Hans. I always enjoyed running into you and meeting you for the first time with Zan and everything.
Yeah.
It brings back a lot of memories.
And you really opened the door for me there, you know, and you're part of that for me. I was on Cliff's list back in the day. It was one of the only, I was subscribed to it, you know, and yeah, meeting you was part of that. For me, it became like, wow, a whole new world is possible. I can meet these people. I can become better at this, you know. I could travel the world. So yeah, you've been part of that awakening for me, you know. So I want to thank you for that, and I'm happy we're talking again.
Well, we'll keep talking, I'm sure. Anyway, thanks very much, and I will end it right now, and I appreciate it, and we'll still be in touch soon again.
Thank you, Cliff.